Requested by Derek, a Battletopia patron. Bad Mechs, the Hellbringer, by Sean of Sarna.net, the greatest wiki of them all. Khan Lasanera has directed us to create a new heavy Omni-Mech, and he has ordered this battle mech to be completed within 6 months. Each of the scientists and techs within the Hellhorse's boardroom had different expressions after this announcement. Some looked down in solemn contemplation. A few stared back at scientist Hyun in open-mouthed astonishment for the exceptionally short timeline. One threw his tablet on the table and lit a cigarette in direct defiance of the Star Captain's no smoking ordinance. Technician Samson picked up his jaw before whispering, "That's not enough time." "Contractions, Samson," barked Hyun. "Nevertheless, we do as the Khan commands. Ideas." The boardroom was met with utter silence for several uncomfortable long moments. Then a voice from the back. "We could use the lower assembly of the new Summoner chassis." Hyun squinted. The voice was too far away to discern the source. Perhaps calling an all-hands meeting for a single mech design was not the wisest course of action. "And why would we do that?" "Because you said this needed to be developed quickly," came the sheepish reply. "Well, that is half the design right there." There were a few nods, and Hyun conceded the point. They needed to move fast, and starting from a proven design was a boon she couldn't deny. They needed all the help they could get. "This limits the design's potential capacity, but it is a start," Hyun said. "Now, let us discuss payload." From there, the boardroom descended into utter chaos. A section of the scientists demanded anti-personnel pods and machine guns for urban combat. A contingent of techs suggested an active probe in ECM to counter the growing threat of electronic warfare within the clans. A scientist at the far end simply shrieked, "AMS!" prompting Hyun to write the acronym on her datapad without really considering either the source or purpose of such a suggestion. "And let's be frank, our mech warriors are not the best of the clans," Samson said during a brief lull in the brainstorming furore. "A targeting computer would be most helpful for our warriors." "Agreed," Hyun said, adding the technology to the long list of suggested equipment. "We have yet to discuss actual weapons." The room once again fell silent. Then another voice from a distant corner of the packed room said what everyone was already thinking. "Twin particle cannons, a short-range missile launcher, and several medium lasers." "Brilliant," Hyun said with a smile. "Get this down to our engineers. We have a prototype to build." As the room cleared, a single scientist stayed in her chair, staring at the notes she'd taken during the manic planning session. In theory, this new mech would be able to meet the demands of any battlefield, a true Omni-Mech. Only she couldn't help but think that this design was slightly unfocused, and there was the nagging feeling that they were all forgetting something vitally important. Academics that have studied the clans find the Hellbringer, also known as the Loki to Inner Sphere mech warriors, to be a bit of an oddity. Its primary configuration comes with a litany of performance-enhancing equipment that most clan mech warriors would consider questionable, if not outright dishonourable. An anti-missile system, ECM, and anti-personnel pods provide the Hellbringer with additional defences, while a targeting computer and active probe ensure the Hellbringer pilot can engage enemy mechs effectively in almost all circumstances. However, Clan Hellhorses wasn't about to sacrifice the Hellbringer's potential weapons capacity in order for it to mount this additional equipment. In order to ensure the Hellbringer could keep pace with similar mechs in the clan's Toman, the mech was forced to maintain a running speed of 86.4 km per hour. That left armour protection as the only element engineers could scale back, leaving the Hellbringer with an abnormally light shell of just 8 tons of standard armour. Hellhorse's engineers were also perhaps too focused on the Hellbringer's speedy development to remember that its mostly energy-based weapons would need to be offset by heat-sinking capacity. The Hellbringer's 13 double heat sinks allow it to shrug off some of the heat generated by its twin ER PPCs, but not all, and it's certainly not enough to cool the mech down if the pilot starts firing its trio of ER medium lasers. Despite these flaws, the Hellbringer would go on to become a popular mech, especially with Clan Jade Falcon mech warriors. First introduced in 2926, the Hellbringer was disseminated to most clans thanks to Hellhorse's leadership gifting the design for political favours. By the time of the Inner Sphere invasion, it was a common enough sight amongst the invading clans to be designated Loki by Captain Gallon Cox for its utterly mad configuration. While the primary configuration of the Hellbringer maintained a mostly energy-based weapons payload, alternate configurations lean more heavily towards ammo-dependent armaments. The A configuration retains the active probe and the machine guns, but swaps the SRM launcher and ER PPCs for twin ER large lasers, an Ultra AC-5 and an LRM-20. The ECM, targeting computer and anti-personnel pods were swapped for a NARC missile beacon, for improved accuracy of nearby fire support units, another strange addition for a society that values honourable single combat. Newer configurations of the Hellbringer tend to eschew the specialist equipment to devote more of its 28 tons of pod space to weapons. Interestingly, the Hellbringer's dissemination also included Inner Sphere armies, with the G configuration sporting an Inner Sphere built improved heavy Gauss rifle. By the Dark Age era, Clan Seafox readily provided the aging Hellbringer to any customer willing to pay for it. Amongst the home clans, however, the Hellbringer has largely been replaced by the Ebon Jaguar, a superior design that offers similar speed and firepower with far greater armor protection while maintaining a 65-ton gross weight. In 3121, the Jade Falcons attempted to improve their favoured design with the Loki Mark II, also known as the Hell. The Loki Mark II drops the Hellbringer's engine to a 260XL, resulting in a running speed of 64 kph, to devote even more of its pod space to weapons. The priming Loki Mark II configuration mounts twin Gauss rifles alongside twin ER large lasers and a Streak SRM-4 for lighter targets. The Hell's B configuration is even more powerful thanks to a long-tom artillery cannon mounted in the right arm. Ferrofibrous armour improves the Hell's protection over its progenitor, but it still remains a relatively fragile heavy mech. The Hellbringer marks a logical extreme for clan designs, emphasising offence and mobility over defence. While the Hellbringer's primary configuration offers its pilots a curious array of equipment, most would likely be better served by a few more armour plates. Today, Hellbringers are the preferred mount for elderly clan mech warriors looking to die in a blaze of glory, or younger warriors too foolish to consider their own mortality. Now, as some people know, I am a spheroid. And as a spheroid, it pleases me no end to see clanners panic and produce a substandard mech. Yes, it's got big guns and it can jump, but it's gone on a crash diet to pay for it all, and as a result, its armour is now tissue paper. Cue the maniacal laughter of swarming lights and medium Inner Sphere mechs. You can't kill us all, clan of filth, before we drag you down and give you a damn good spanking. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed that story and that lore, and thanks to producer Derek for the support. This will be an extra little addition to the channel as I love Sarna and I love these stories. If you enjoyed this, please leave a rating, subscribe to the channel to hear more stories, and if you want to support the channel, then head on over to BattleTopia Stories Patreon or shout me a drink on Ko-Fi. Links are in the description or just Google it. Stay tuned everyone for the next story time. I've been Shrapnel. Bye!